everybody from our YouTube audience. My name is Caroline Rambo, and I'm one of the Spanish tutors here at Florida State College at Jacksonville Kent Campus Learning Center, and I'm here from the foreign language today. And our goal here is to communicate to a World Wide Web, so that way if a student can't make it to the foreign language lab to get some studying done or some tutoring, you can just sit here, relax, and watch more and learn more Spanish at home. So our goal is basically to provide home entertainment at the same time learning Espanol as well. So today, with our YouTube channel, our first goal is to learn the difference between ser and estar. These are two verbs that every Spanish student, from the beginning Spanish to even more the upper level Spanish, every student cannot stand ser and estar. Now the thing is, both of these verbs mean to be, but the problem is you use them for completely different situations. Now in English, we have a verb, when we say to be, we use things like am, is, or are. Now the thing is, it doesn't make a difference if I say I am sad today in English, or it doesn't make a difference if I say I am Caroline. Now those two are completely different scenarios, right? I mean, I am sad today. Who knows? Tomorrow I might be happy. Tomorrow I might be excited. Or tonight I might just be bored. But the thing is, with that type of I am, it can change, right? Now when I give you the other example, I am Caroline, that's about something completely different than I am sad today, right? Because if you think about it, I am Caroline, I've been Caroline since the day I was born, I am Caroline right now as I'm sitting here recording this video for my YouTube audience, and I'm going to be Caroline the day I finally die. So the thing is, I'm always going to be Caroline. It doesn't matter what, right? So it can be confusing because in English, we have I am for both scenarios, even though they talk about completely different things, right? In Spanish, this is where ser and estar come into play, because they know that there's completely different scenarios when you say I am sad versus I am Caroline, because those are two completely different things, right? So in Spanish, they have a difference. That's when you have the verb ser and the verb estar. First of all, let's take a look at the verb estar. Estar is spelled E-S-T-A-R, or in Spanish, E-S-T-A-R. Estar. This verb talks about things that have the potential to change. So basically, it talks about emotions. For example, when you're in Spanish 1 and you learn ¿Cómo estás?, that estás comes from estar. When you learn how to say, how are you, ¿Cómo estás?, you're using estar. So estar talks about emotions. How are you doing today? It can talk about conditions. For example, if you say está muerto, you're saying it's dead. It talks about conditions. It can also talk about location. If you say ¿Dónde estás?, that means where are you? So you're using the verb estar to talk about all three things: emotions, conditions, and location. Now keep in mind, if you mix up estar with ser, you're going to have a completely different meaning. For example, if I want to say where are you, instead of saying ¿Dónde estás?, if I say ¿Dónde es?, I'm asking more like where are you from, like de dónde es. But if I want to say where are you from, and I say de dónde estás, I'm asking more or less where are you. So there's a difference. If you messed up estar with ser, you're going to get some completely different meanings. So basically, remember, estar is like things that have the ability to change. For example, estoy triste hoy. I'm sad today. That has the ability to change. Why? Because I could go home, win the lottery, and I'm not going to be sad anymore, right? So estar is for those things in life that change constantly. Now ser is when things start getting a little bit different, because ser is about things that don't always change. People who learn ser, who like to teach about ser and the meaning of ser, like to describe it in two ways. You can think about ser as things that are like permanent, like, for example, personality, your origin, your physical appearance, anything that is permanent. Or you might like to think of it as things that are associated with your identity. Either one, they both mean the same thing. Either one of those are great. But keep in mind, ser is about those things that are always going to stay the same. For example, I can say, soy Caroline, I'm Caroline. I can say, soy pelirrojo, I'm a redhead. I'm always going to be a redhead, and I'm always going to be Caroline. I can say, Soy de los Estados Unidos. I'm from the United States. I'm always going to be from the United States. Or I could say soy mexicana. I'm Mexican. I'm always going to be Mexican, right? So ser is for those things that talk about identity. Or they talk about the things that are going to stay permanent, right? Another example is ser, physical appearance. Ella, if you're talking about me, you might say, ella es pelirroja. You might say, ella es feliz. If you say ella es feliz compared to ella está feliz, you're describing, because you're using ser, you're describing my personality. You could say she's always happy. She's always that little happy redhead in the Spanish lab, right? But if you say ella está feliz, that means she's happy like just today, because it's just a temporary thing. So remember, main difference, ser is for things that are permanent or for things that have to do with identity, if you want to look at it that way. Whereas star is for things that have the potential to change. Finally, let's look at ser una vez más, one more time. Ser is also used to tell time. Like if you say que hora es, you're using es, and es comes from the verb ser. Now, you're probably sitting here thinking, okay, well, if it's stars for those things that have the potential to change, why don't we use a star? Because time is constantly changing. Like right now, it's 4:05. By the time I'm done with this video, it's probably going to be 4:06 or 4:07. Time is constantly changing, so why don't we use a star? Because a star relates to the things that change. Well, you, all my little logic-loving friends, you are right to think like that, but you are wrong. You are actually going to use ser. Why do we use ser? Just the way the Spanish language works. It's weird, it's crazy, it's Spanish. But that does give me a chance to introduce our next lesson. Our next lesson is going to be all about ser and how to tell time using the verb ser. So we're going to learn all about answering the notorious question, ¿qué hora es? What time is it? And how do you answer that, and so forth. So, till next time, until our second episode of Learning Spanish on YouTube, I am Caroline from the Foreign Language Lab at Florida State College at Jacksonville, Kent campus. So, hasta luego. Bye-bye.